Hello and welcome to today's video. This time we're going to be taking a look back over my pickups through late December into January. So sit back, relax, and let's get to it. Okay then, so apologies, I am a tiny bit under the weather at the moment. My wife has been hit with some sort of bug or flu, and I've got a little bit of it. I'm not as bad as her, thankfully, but I've still got a touch of it. So not a massively long video this time round. I've got, I don't know, maybe about 25 to 30 books to show you, some really good stuff. But some of this I got as Christmas presents. Some of it I got just afterwards. And there was a particularly nice batch of American paperbacks which arrived sort of the first week of January, which I can't wait to show because there's some gorgeous books in there. So starting out with these two, so I brought back a few Badger books from my friend Dorset Bob, and those have been up on a recent sales video a few weeks back. But there was a couple of Lariat Westerns, which are these ones. These are the LW, and I've got a bit of a soft spot for Westerns, and these are particularly nice condition because they're pretty much appear unread, and Bob was lucky enough to buy the remainders of the Badger archive, such as it was, quite a few years ago now, and he's still got quite a bit left over. And I thought these were just too good to pass up, so they're absolutely fine. There's not a mark inside them, so no actual work to be done, except I will of course give all the tops a brush off, and at the end I'll give some of the books a polish as well. Now, I picked up a small batch of Anne McCaffrey books. Now, I didn't mind Anne McCaffrey. In fact, I've got the other three here. I think this was all the ones I picked up at this time around. And I don't mind Anne McCaffrey at all. I actually did a convention with her back in the early 90s in my hometown. She was really nice. Got to have a good bit of time with her. And obviously no longer with us now, but I remember selling her throughout the 90s, and she was a big seller as well. And I wanted to sort of pick up her first sort of dragon books, maybe the first sort of half a dozen or so in UK paperback first. But I'm also separately collecting this series, which is the Corgi SF Collector's Library here, with this quite nice library here. So they've all got this sort of the roundel on the front there. So I think this is her first full novel. Obviously her first published works are in the pulps, in some of the later pulps. But yeah, Corgi edition from 1970. So this was the actual first printing of this one, and this is a later printing, but as I said, it's from the SF Collectors series, the Corgi SF Collectors Library, which I am picking a few of those up. There's not that many, but it's one of those little 70s sub-series that I'm picking up. And these were dirt cheap. I mean, literally just a few pounds a pop or less each. I think I got those three in a job lot, and I got this one separately for about £5, which I didn't think was too bad. It was a little more worn than I would have liked, but it'll do as a filler. And these are the next two, Dragon Singer and Dragon Song. But they were the first printings in paperback. This is 78. It's a Dragon Song. I'm missing a couple. I think Shippu Sang. But these early ones are not too bad at all. I actually did read them back in the late 80s. Yeah, this is Corgi 78. Of course, she lived in Ireland, didn't she? I seem to remember. And when she came over to us, she didn't have that far to go, as I recall. Now, I was particularly pleased to get another Muth and Sixpenny. Now, as far as I know, there's 20 in the set, because I've got some later ones, so they go up to number 20. The last one I got was number 5, which was a P.G. Wodehouse, Sam the Sudden, which is actually quite a scarce one. They always turn up hammered. These actually got released in dust wrappers, if you can believe it. I've only got a couple in dust wrapper. And they generally turn up absolutely fallen to bits. There we are, 1939. And they were one of those many publishers that were trying to emulate the popularity of the Penguin books, you know, cheap paperbacks for sixpence, really. But I'll always pick a copy up as long as it's complete, if it's one of the 20 that I need, and I think I'm down to maybe 6 now. So slowly but surely I am getting there. I was pleased to get this. This is the first time the Avengers TV show was put into book form. This one from Console Books, the very young Patrick McNee there, and Honor Blackman on the back. And this one tends to go for good money. In fact, there's really, really nice ones up on eBay for about 90 quid. I don't think they ever sell for that. This one was the best condition one that seemed fairly reasonable. So I did the usual 1963. I did the usual. I bookmarked it, so I watched it on eBay, and I thought, well, and I knew it had been sun faded down the edge there because it's red, so very, very susceptible to sun fading. And it was on there for £30 or best offer or make me an offer. So I watched it, and then I had a little notification on my phone to say, oh, this book's coming to an end. And I see they dropped it down to £9 on a buy it now. So I grabbed it for £9. So I was really, although it's not mint, to be honest, it will do me because it is quite a scarce one. And of course they did that. Then there was the two Avengers ones actually written by McNee. And then they go into the Panther series, of which there's I think about 5 or 6. Now, another author I've been trying to pick up a few of just lately is the first paperback printings of Isaac Asimov, just the science fiction stuff. And obviously he wrote an awful lot, and I'm not too interested in his non-fiction, but his science fiction I'd like to get as much as possible in first paperback printing. And I have already got quite a bit of it in my early Panther books from the 1950s. And I've got a couple of digit ones as well. I haven't unfortunately got them all. I think I'm short of iRobot, which is an early digit, and I think that's that's going to be a pricey one if one turns up in fairly nice condition. But I've been doing a research, and he's just another one of those authors that, like Harry Harrison, like Philip Jose Farmer, I'm going to try and get a run of their paperback firsts over the next sort of few years. It's going to be part of my collecting aims. Now here's one from the collection I got from the States. Now, this is from a chap called Richard, and Richard does sell on eBay, so I did say that I'd put a link to his eBay listings in the description down below. So he has got more paperbacks, but he does all sorts of things on eBay. The main thing you'll find about these books is that they're really great condition. So I was, over the moon. They're not all firsts, some of them are reprints, but there's some absolutely fantastic key books here. Now this one here is one of the Ace science fiction specials, which I'm closing in on the first season, or first series rather, at least. This is an absolutely beautiful copy of this one, 1968. It's got the cover by Leo and Diane Dillon, who are fantastic cover artists, but unfortunately on these very early ones, these are the first 8 I think are like this, you only get to see a little snippet, a little square of the cover, which seems a bit unfair to me. Here's another one. So there's a couple of reasons to pick this up. Some of the books I've got off Richard are film tie-ins. Other ones are just early Ballantine books like this one. So Ballantine SF. This is number 602. Ballantine SF in general, I absolutely love. It's probably one of my all-time favourite American science fiction publishers. I love the cover design. I think the books are high quality. But this is the movie tie-in as well. So it's two. So it's a movie tie-in and a science fiction novel. And there's Leo McKern there, Edward Judd, and Janet Monroe. This is the film tie-in, which I'm not sure if this is a first or not. 1961. So I really love Ballantine books, and I am almost on the verge of doing a new Ballantine collection update. Here's another one here, which is by James Blish. It's Ballantine science fiction, The Frozen Year. This is much earlier. It's now 197. So again, I'm not sure if this is a first or a reprint, but I'm not massively worried if some of them are reprints here, No, that's the first, 1957. Now, a lot of James Blish, in fact, I'd say almost exclusively, the James Blish that I've read has been his Star Trek adaptations that came out by Bantam in the late 60s and into the mid 70s, which I absolutely love, right at the end of his life, really. And I love those. So I'm looking forward to trying a bit of his regular science fiction, really. Now, this one's all right, although I do see it's got a little mark at the bottom of the spine, a little bit of spine unfolding, and that might be the first one we need to do a little bit of repair on. Let's slip a little bit of glue in there. But this is Frank Herbert, and it's an Avon, a reasonably early Avon as well. Lovely cover. 21st Century Sub, The Dragon in the Sea was the original title, renamed here for the paperback. Not that unusual. 1956, look at that. Oh yeah, original title, The Dragon in the Sea. Is this his first book? Herbert collectors are no doubt going to be able to tell me. Look at that, that's really nice, isn't it? That's really nice condition. It just needs a tiny, as far as I can see, a tiny bit of glue in there to fold that touch of the spine down. So I have got my my Pritt stick handy here and my little micro screwdriver, and I'll just get a little smidgen of glue into there. Hopefully just enough to slide that into that gap. That's the aim, and it's not going in very well. There we are. Yeah. There we are. It's just been folded over, so that's going to look a little bit better. But it's a delicate book, probably quite collectible, that. And in fact, some of the books I've got off Richard, I sure are quite collectible. I mean, obviously I bought them. I hopefully gave Richard a fair price for them, and he was happy. So that's all that matters, really, from collector to collector, as it were. Here's another Asimov, one of the sort of the later ones. It's published in Granada, which was one of the forms that sort of Panther books ended up, Grafton Granada ended up going into eventually. But this was the first paperback, 1983. It's not mint, but it wasn't expensive. The good thing about Asimov is he wrote so much, and you can pick the books off for just a few pounds a piece, really. You know, I think this was like, it was something ridiculous, like £1.20 plus the postage on eBay. So as I said, it's a great way to build a library up if you're not too worried about not having them in hardback. You know, paperback first is really nice for me. I love paperback firsts. So here's another one from the from Richard in the States, and this is another one I was really pleased to get. Bob Shaw, The Two Timers, another early one. Got a little quote there from Ellison on the front there. Knocked me cold, painfully good. Well, there we are. Now this one I can't. There's another one by Bob Shaw which I have had a couple of, but I don't think I've ever had this one. So this was really, really nice. It was the great channel over in Canada, Richard Rempel, Vintage SF, and Richard has, I think he's got the full set of all the Ace Science Fiction specials now, and I'm not too far behind now, Richard, but they were the first channel I saw on YouTube that really featured them, and I think they are absolutely gorgeous, and I've loved collecting them. I've not got them all yet, so I'm still buying some, but I suspect, since none of them are too ridiculously hard to get, I suspect I'll be able to finish the first series at least this year. Now here's an absolute paperback classic, really, The Beats. It's a gold medal. Now this one I believe is a reprint. Richard did tell me this was not a first printing, but I don't mind because it has got the original jacket there, which is that great one of I think that's Jack Kerouac, I'm not sure, but it's a classic period piece, that's for certain. Yeah, second printing from 1963, July 63, but that's okay. It's one that's been on my list. It's almost like a paperback classic, that one, so I don't mind having that. Now it's got a little wear on the back there, which I suspect is going to come off very well when we get to polishing that one, because that should come up really, really nicely, that, because you see the dust and stuff on it. So pop it in the pile for now. None of these have actually had any sort of pencil marks in, at least none that I can see so far. La Dolce Vita, this is another Ballantine, a movie tie-in, 96 pages of photos. Just pause in there while I coughed off screen, sorry about that, guys, but there we are. So I suspect this is going to be quite a tough one to find in any condition, but look at this, look at the photos. It looks like it's the script of the whole movie. Now I am planning on doing another movie tie-in special with some more cool movie ties, and I suspect this might be included. This is a real cracker, look at that. So when did this come out? Is it early 60s or even late 50s? 1961, yeah, there we are. Look at that. I think that's really, really quite scarce, and it's lovely condition. Now there is that, I'm just looking at the top of the spine here. Yeah, that could very, very easily flake off. So I'm going to pop, once again, a tiny smidgen of glue to stop that chip getting any worse. You may have seen that recently I've started bagging up my paperbacks, and I've started just with the early Penguin books so far, and the next batch to be done is going to be the very early Collins Crime, the White Circle Crime titles, Collins Crime Club, which I think are also quite delicate and would really look great bagged up, you know. So that's pop that in there to save that little bit getting any worse. But once again, it could use a little bit of a polish, but I think that's another really nice one. And the Virgin Spring, another movie tie-in. I've got to admit, this was a really, really great find of books from Rich. I'm so glad he got in touch and allowed me to get some off him. There's another one with some photos in. Yeah, 1960, another early Ballantine, 444. Of course, we just don't really see them over here that often. That's the thing. That's why you see some of the science fiction ones, that's for certain. Now, this is a Dell science fiction anthology, and I do love a good anthology. I have to say, I've been reading quite a bit of them lately, and got a bit of rubbing along the top like it's been remaindered. But even so, I don't mind. I've got some Dell books. I love their earlier matte backs, of course, and I got a few from this sort of period. Let's have a look. January 62. Let's have a look at the titles included there. Yep, some good stuff. It does feel a little delicate, like if you were to read some of the stories, it might affect this one a little bit. You know, when you're actually reading it, it sort of feels like it's poised to fall to bits, even though it's not too bad a copy in general. And then yet another movie tie-in here, Lady Sings the Blues. Who's seen that one? Billie Holiday. Now, was this the original? And then wasn't there a Diana Ross version in the 70s, or is this it? I don't know. This, I think, is the original version. Billie's Story. Popular Library. July 56, 4 printings. Popular Library edition, January 58, which is what this one is. So that's the first paperback, once again. Very, very nice. Right, I need to just make a little bit of room here. Okay, so delighted to receive this one as a Christmas present. This is Shooting an Elephant. It's one of the Penguin Mini cloth-bound classics, and I absolutely love this library. They're fantastic, and Shooting an Elephant and Orwell in particular is just one of my favourites. And I know this one's been out a little while, but I was delighted to see my friend who bought it for me. It got me the first printing, which was great. So it's the first story there. If you've never heard Shooting an Elephant, or read it even, I have done a little audio version of me reading that one on the channel. So once again, if I can remember, I'll pop a link to the audio of Shooting an Elephant in the description down below, because it's a great and quite moving, and you could say almost an unforgettable story. So the next thing I got was a Christmas present from my friend Gary and Lucille Levisi. Now, Gary runs a great vintage paperback YouTube channel, and this was made by his wife, and it's a slightly overlarged paperback for the American edition of Cat Among the Pigeons. And when you open it, you see it's done like a book. So it's got, this book belongs to, it's got my name all in. This is all sort of hand put in. It's full of little bits of memorabilia. You see little cigarette cards and that. And you open it up, and we've got a copy of the book in jigsaw form, a little jigsaw there, and also a copy of the book itself with a pocket books bookmark, which is very, very smart indeed. And underneath there, it's got a few more bits of little bits of sort of appropriate memorabilia. It really is quite a gorgeous bit of book-related memorabilia. Look at that, absolutely fantastic, eh? I love it. I absolutely love it. It's superb. Thank you very, very much, Gary and Lucille. This was a real treat, and that'll be quite a nice addition to my Agatha Christie collection. It really, really will. That's a real gem, that one. Thank you for that. They always come up with some fantastic stuff, I have to say. She's very creative, is Lucille. Now, I got one of these. It's not the greatest of copies, I'll admit that. It's from, it was from a local charity, like a hospice, but it is the first paperback of The Spy Loved Me. It was one of the ones I didn't have, and it was only about a £5. So it's not great. It's here on borrowed time, really, but it was the first printing. So it is what it is, really. I didn't mind too much, but it is another one out of the way. So I do only need, I think, 3 or 4 to finish the American set in first edition now. So I'm quite pleased about that. Now, this is one of 2 books I received off author Ryan Hughes. Now, Ryan Hughes, if you may remember, he wrote and published the great book on science fiction paperback jackets, ray guns and rocket ships, which came out a couple of years ago, and that one's currently being updated to be reprinted because the first run is sold out, and they're going to look to do like a slightly revised and expanded edition of it. But this is he has written lots of other books as well, and Ryan sent me a couple which I said I'd show on the channel. I haven't got around to reading either of them yet, but you may know that he's also an absolute master of design, and the books are no different. So these are classed as science fiction, and but they're science fiction. It's a real experience reading these sorts of books, and they do look really, really great. I'm very much looking forward to getting stuck into these. So these are both on my to be read. So that's that one, and this second one over here is even bigger. It's a huge old tome. Look at the size of it. Double X. That was the Black Locomotive. This is well, is it Double X or is it 20? Published by Picador. Look at the size of this. Similar vein. As you can see, it's quite funky text. Lots of different fonts and things like that. I think it's going to be brilliant. I really do. I can't wait to get stuck into this. It looks absolutely intriguing. So, there you go. Mad, eh? Imagine being his editor. I don't know. So 2 great books there, which you might want to give a try by Ryan. And they also came my way recently. As I said, it's recent pickups. Another thing, just completely incidental, but while I think of it, it was, as I filmed this last week, I appeared on a podcast, and it was called She Done It. And it's a crime podcast. It's about classic golden age crime from the interwar years. That's sort of 1918 to about 1936, 37, really, sort of interwar, but they do creep into the 1940s a bit. And yeah, She Done It. It's a great podcast. It's quite big. It gets distributed across all the usual platforms, including BBC Sounds, and has about 60,000 downloads per show. So I'm on an episode of that. It's out the week, so if yeah, it should be out the week that you hear this. So it won't be out right now, but it'll be out in a few days' time. So do look out for that. I think it's a very early February-ish is when the episode is out. I think you'll really enjoy it, so I hope so. I got this one as well. So this is the 50th Penguin Anniversary catalogue. Only just fits in here. There's a Beryl Cook picture on the front, and she did 2 illustrations for Penguin. There's the other one on the back, lounging around. And this was published in 1985. It's one I haven't got, and I collect all old Penguin catalogues, paraphernalia, and it's great. It's a nice little look at the authors of the time who were still around and being published by Penguin in 1985. But also a little, little thing, a half century of Penguins. There we are. So it's apart from that, it's a pretty standard catalogue, but it's nice all the same. I said I got quite a run of these catalogues now. I pulled them all together to try and get a bit of a definitive list. And there's the Penguin Science Fiction. Got more listed there than you might think. Aldous, Kingsley Amis, 1985, Ray Bradbury. Yeah, Time Out of Joint. Yeah, all the John Wyndhams, of course. Yeah, so yeah, not too bad. But yeah, I particularly liked it because it's one I haven't got, and I also really like Beryl Cook. So yeah, that was quite a nice little find. Now on to a few more of Richard's lovely paperbacks, which I can't get enough of them. So this is one that's a bit of fun. Just look at a light sleaze title, very, very difficult to get hold of, and this one actually has got a bit of an in-joke, which I won't go into right now. But yeah, 1964, quite a famous one, Right? This is great. So this is on the actual space race, but by Robert Silverberg, who's obviously noted for his science fiction. But this is the dramatic true story of the Mercury astronauts and the men who accepted the challenge to become the first American into space. So very, very nice. I'd never seen this before, so I was really pleased to get it. I like sort of early space race stuff. I haven't got a lot of it, but what I've got, I think it's got a particular feel to it, like 1961. John Glenn there on the front. Good stuff, eh? And this was another one I was really pleased to get. It's the paperback of The Hustler. Now, I've got the movie tie-in edition with Paul Newman on the front, but I believe the edition that I've actually already owned is the second printing with, yes, Steve, with Paul Newman and Piper Laurie on the front. Whereas this one, I'm hoping, is it the first? Yeah, this is the first printer from July 61. So that's the first. As I said, I've got the second. So yeah, it's one of my favourite movies, that. So I absolutely love that one. That's a cool one. Once again, this one, although it's not in the greatest of shape, it's an absolute classic, and some might say iconic, early paperback. The pocketbook of the Maltese Falcon by Dashiell Hammett. It's got the original jacket, but I don't know if it's the first print. But we'll have a look, see if it is. Yeah, first print in July 1944 by Pocket. I love this bit on the back here. Send this book to a boy in the armed forces anywhere in the US only. Anywhere in the US, only 3 cents. That's good, isn't it? Yeah, quite an early pocketbook, number 268, but it's also a collectible one. The first paperback British printing of it, I believe, is in pan, with a really, really nice pan edition. Oh, this one. Now, these weren't in any order, but this is perhaps find of the, well, not find, but the book of the buy from Richard was this, Forbidden Planet. I absolutely been itching to get a nice copy of this one. And look at that. Absolute classic. I've got the British Corgi, but I've been on the lookout for the American one for quite some time. March 1956, first printing. There we are. That's a beautiful copy of that, isn't it? What an absolute treasure. That is gorgeous. I mean, that's going to be on display, that's a beauty. Oh, I love it. As I said, it was a great little late Christmas present when this little lot came through. Now here's one on Al Capone. It's an early-ish true crime book, based on the exciting motion picture Al Capone. So it is the movie tie-in to the motion picture, which itself, I guess, is like his life story. So it's sort of true crime, isn't it? 1959. Pyramid. Lovely. Look at that. Nice copy as well, isn't it? Nice busy jacket down the bottom there. Strackham, I think it says, or Stuckham. Lovely stuff. That says some gorgeous books here. Another one. Oh, I'm so pleased to get this. Another early Ballantine. And I think it's the only one I've got in Ballantine by Philip K. Dick, like Martian Time Slip. So, very, very cool. Indeed. Not sure once again if it's a first or not. I think most of them were going to be firsts. Yeah, 1964. There we are. So yes, that's Ballantine 2191. So very, very nice indeed, that. Yeah, look at that. Can't beat a bit of Philip K. Dick, can you? Jet, another Ballantine one. Pick this one up, it's Ballantine 691. I do have the British edition of this, which is published in pan. I think he did say this was a reprint. Yeah, it's from 1962, but that's okay. It has got just a couple of turned over corners here. I said, if you want to see what else Richard's got, I'm going to put a link to his eBay page in the description down below. I don't know if he's got more books, but I don't know if he's listed them. But from what I could see from the pictures he sent over, they all look to be in this sort of level of condition, which I'd say is above average, well above average, in a collectible condition, let's say, for vintage paperbacks. And certainly in the UK, you don't tend to find American books in this lovely condition, you know. Now, got a few more books to do, but I wanted to show you these first of all. So a few more Christmas presents. So I picked up, I've got a couple of issues of the Digest Enthusiast that I'm now working my way through, which are really nice. So that one, and that was number 1. This is number 2. These are all sort of those print-on-demand titles from Amazon, so you can get these on Amazon. Once again, if I can remember, I'll try and put a link to these in the description. And for all the stuff, in actual fact, I'll put links to in the description down below. So I've got those two, and also this one, which is I think much more recently published. It was Bare Bones, the best of Bare Bones. Got some great stuff in here, lots of paperback related content. Nice, good book. Just lots and lots of articles which you might want to get your hands on. Loads of information in here, as you can see. Good stuff, eh? So yeah, the best of Bare Bones. Just this one's about £14-15, but there's a lot to it. So I haven't finished reading all these, but just wanted to show you a few more new bits that I got. And then we got the last little pile of books that I of paperbacks. So yeah, this was the last Panther one I needed, I believe. Yeah, pretty sure it was, yeah. And in fact, for all the Avengers books, I just need one American one. Then I've got them all. But then there's a second series of American reissues, which I've got just 1 out of the 7 of. So I'm going to try and get those and then do a video of all the Avengers-related books. And I might tie it in with Danger Man and Prisoner as well. I'm not sure. But anyway, this is the last of the Panther ones. Got the famous oblite. But these, like the other Avengers ones, it's got the price underneath the Panther logo. The 3 and 6 price. But there we are. That wasn't bad. It was like a £5. I didn't mind paying that for the final one. A couple of books actually on Jackie Kennedy. Now, you might think, well, why have you got those? But she was an American icon, really. And I said, Richard did give me a good deal on these books, so I thought I will include them because they're just so unusual. And they're not the sort of books that you find in the UK. And they're in nice condition, so I picked up both of those. I've got some other books on JFK, and I'll pop them with my my little collection. 1966 for that one. And that one was January 61. Look at that. Yeah. Very, very nice. Then another absolutely tip-top movie tie-in here. A nice, very, very thin Avon. Great one all the same. And I was really impressed with the condition of this one. Gunfight at the OK Corral. Look at that. Look at that spine. There it is. Burt Lancaster and Kirk Douglas. Wow. Yeah, 128 pages. And with some photos as well. 1957. That's pretty nice, that, isn't it? Wow, wow, wow. That is really, really great, that one. That's a beautiful condition book. That is an absolute beauty. Yeah, absolutely cool. Then the last one I got is an Ace. It's an Ace. It's a later Ace double, but it has got an early Dean Koontz in. It's this one, The Fall of the Dream Machine by Dean Koontz. More famous for his horror stuff, of course, but on the back it's got this one, Kenneth Bulmer, so another great author, but it has got this Goodwill sticker on the side here, and I don't know, I'm weary about giving it a go because I don't have any experience with Goodwill stickers, so I'm just going to do it super slowly and we'll see how we get on, shall we? Is it going to do it, or is it going to leave a mark? In which case, I'll just leave the Goodwill sticker on, you know? I suspect it's going to leave a mark, unfortunately. Yeah, it's one of those things. I mean, at least on the spine, when it's on the shelf, it's not going to be the end of the world like that. But I think if I try and take that off, it's going to just leave a mark. And we don't want that, do we? Okay, so we're on to the brushing stage now. So I've got the shorter books in front of me here, and we'll get those brushed first. Little pinches of the more traditional A formats. So I'm filming this one on the Saturday, and tomorrow I'm off to another Shepton Toy Fair, Shepton Night, which is going to be great. Last one was particularly good, and there's no reason to think that tomorrow's may not be the same. You just never know what you might find. The brushing stage doesn't take too long, but the polishing can do. Not that we have to polish everything. Obviously I've pulled off all the new stuff to one side. So my friend Steve and I have got our next trip to Dorset Bob's worked out. And a fair few of you bought some of his stock last time. I did a video, and I've got a few specific ones to pick up. But if there's anything in particular you're still after, just drop me an email pretty much a day or two after you watch this video, so I can try and arrange to pick up anything that you might want in time, you know. This old Muthen's very, very dusty. What I'm going to do is pop it in the middle of the books. Yeah, getting loads of dust off that Muthen. Loads of it. Nice top edge, look at that. See how we get on with that. Yeah, make quite a difference. Much better. Not perfect. When you think that Muthen book is, what was it, 1937? Alright, last little batch here now. Right, that's all the brushing done, which is always the messiest bit. Right, the final stage now, which is the polishing. Got my trusty Mr. Sheen, and I got quite a fresh bottle of it as well. So, and we'll get through these books here, get them spick and span now that we've been through them, and we brushed the edges and basically got them as nice as we possibly can. Yeah, so we got I'll be meeting up with my friend Steve, the Outlaw bookseller, and Steve and I are going to be visiting Dorset Bulb sort of mid-February-ish. Then we've got a trip to another book dealer who will remain nameless for now in March. Then of course we're both going to be at the London Paperback show on Dorset Bulb store, in fact, so we're going to be there. We'll be giving him a hand, meeting channel viewers as well, which will be fantastic. So if you've not made plans yet to get to the London Paperback show on March the 24th, please do show it your support. There'll be loads to buy. You can get to meet me, you get to meet Steve, and basically have an incredible time. It's such a fantastic show, and the stuff that you're likely to see there'll be books from £1, thousands and thousands of books from £1. You're not going to go far wrong. And I love to meet as many people as possible. So any fans of the channel, come along, let me get a photo of us together so we can put that in the video, which was a real highlight last time, of meeting lots of people who'd watched the show. So thanks for all your support, guys, of course, and it really does mean quite a bit. The channel, by the time of the London Paperback show, would have been going for 5 years, which is quite amazing, isn't it? So if you've been watching from those early days, extra thanks to you for giving me the support, because without that support and the patrons and channel members, I don't think the channel would have carried on. You may well have seen the recent announcements about selling on eBay and the government cracking down on people who sort of sell online or have like a social media presence. So I do have an accountant and I treat my YouTube channel as a business, but not everyone does. And for a lot of people, in fact, even for me, it's borderline whether it's worth even sort of declaring it. But you have to, because you know, when you get over a certain threshold, which is only £1,000 in the UK, the government want their cut. But for some people, that's going to be it's going to be really not worth paying 20% tax on, which is what it's going to be. So I don't know, but the channel members and Patreon supporters really do make a difference. So special shout out to James, who joined most recently this week on Patreon. And you're able to join, get to see at least one video early a week, and all my sales videos early. So over on Patreon or through the YouTube channel memberships from £1 or $1. Yeah, if you can do that, it does really make a difference. Some people prefer to super thanks. If you can do the odd super thanks, once again, that's also really, really useful. Helps keeps the channel solvent. I do spend most of my free time doing YouTube videos, but it is always a bit of a roller coaster. And at the moment, my videos and my channel isn't being that well promoted on YouTube. It's just the way it goes. You get one or two videos which are a little bit, they haven't performed as well as you'd hope, or people don't click on it. And it's always funny over Christmas because people have got more time off and they get distracted or haven't got time to watch videos. And it takes a few of those and suddenly you're not being promoted by YouTube. It's as simple as that. So you know, having the regular viewers really does make quite the difference. So if you're a long time subscriber, this is a personal thank you to you. But the more you can spread the videos around on your social media, the more it will help me and the channel long term, you know. Now, just looking very closely at that. Don't think it's a sticker mark. A beautiful copy, isn't it? Absolutely beautiful. Really pleased to have that. It's not mint, but it's very nice. Absolutely fine for me. Al Capone. Most of these books are going to shine up just lovely. Yeah, a few fingerprints on the back of this one. I think I've got that one, Childhood's End, in that Ballantine format. Now, if there's any particular books you want Bob to bring along to the London Paperback show, authors or publishers or anything like that, do leave a comment below, because I'll pass those messages on to him. I suspect he's going to want to bring along all his Badger stock, because certainly I've been selling loads of it on his behalf, because the copies are so nice. I said they're ex the publisher's remainders. You know, the publisher's file copies. Don't often get the chance to get them like that, and they hardly ever turn up in the wild. Pearl's looking a little bit precarious there. Yeah, this is an interesting series, which once I've got them all, I'll do a little overview. I've got a few in the range now. Don't turn up in Nice Nick very often though, so I'm going to be keeping my eyes peeled. It's got like a textured cover. Very unusual indeed. So yeah, not my... I haven't had loads of new stuff in. I've been doing quite a bit of reading, because I did have a bit of a slip and I hurt my back, which meant I couldn't do a lot except stay home and read. So that's exactly what I've been doing. So it meant I didn't go... I've been doing a lot of swimming prior to that, at least twice a week, and that had to go on the back burner for a couple of weeks. I'm back into it now, but I'm still not A1, and now I've been caught a bit of a cold from my wife, so blimmin' good start to 2024, not, you know. That's good. That had a little smidge on the spine, and that's come right off. Good stuff. You find with books with black covers, they're often the hardest to clean up, and also they show the marks the easiest. I'm pleased to get this Frank Herbert, I've got to say. Some of these don't need much at all, they're just lovely copies. This was beautiful condition. Just give it the once, because it's almost 70 years old now. I can't imagine anyone's ever given it a clean like I have. Look at it, what a beautiful copy of that, eh? I'd say almost certainly unread. Very, very carefully stored. Kirk Douglas did eventually pass away, didn't he? He was 103 or something, a year or two ago. Absolute legend. This is that scarce book, but obviously not in top grade, but I don't mind. When else are you going to find one of these over in the UK? I mean, like, literally never. So, very, very pleased to get this one. And these are the couple of lariat westerns from Bob, which I liberated myself. They're too nice to turn down. Absolutely fine, just a little bit of cover dust, nothing too serious. But yeah, been bagging books lately, so I bagged the first 100 Penguin books. Fantastic, really, really enjoyed it. They've come up absolutely lovely, so I'm very much going to carry on doing that, and it'll be a good chance to revisit some of my older series as well that have been shown on the channel, but since then I've got better copies, or I've upgraded them, and I've got stuff that, you know, since I've done the video, I've got bits that I was missing. So look out for those quite soon. I've done the first 100 Penguin. I'm now going to do the Collins Crime Club. That's going to be my my next series, because I reckon I've probably got just over 100 or so, maybe a few more. I've got some services editions and some foreign ones. It's going to be a good little series to get bagged up, I think. So that's going to be the next series that I do some bagging on. I've had lots of good tips. Someone's told me about, or multiple people in the end told me about using the digest bags, because they're much wider, you see, so you can fit the thicker books in using digest bags, which are the same height, just wider. So that is what I shall be doing. I've got some in the house now. Avengers book, which wasn't too bad, just some marked really. But yeah, glad to get this one off my wants list. Been there a long time, so just got lucky in the end. We'll read them all before I've read, I think, all of them. I haven't read this one, but I've read most of the Avengers books, and they're alright. They're not bad reads. Very much like reading an episode of the TV show. So before I do the video, I'll try and read them all, so I can at least pass comment if any of them stand out as actually good reads in their own right, rather than just funky TV tie-ins. Not that there's anything wrong with a funky TV tie-in, because we love them. And movie tie-ins, for that matter. Lovely. Round that little lot up. La douche. Chevy. Here we are, the last little stretch. So as I said, it wasn't as long as some of my pickup videos have been. One I think was 3 hours, wasn't it? That was ridiculous, but I'd had a lot of stuff come my way, you know what I mean? But my this is everything up to the end of January, so my February pickups will include, of course, my most recent Dorset Bob visit. Now this is the one with the particularly dirty back, so we'll do the front and spine first. And let's have a look and see if we can really bring this one up. Already the front looks much brighter, doesn't it? Yes. Well, it hasn't actually brought up as much as I thought it was going to. Which is a little unfortunate. Yeah, I actually got more off the front than it did off the back. I'm going to put another squidge on, because there's definitely something there. Of course, it's very easy to overdo it, isn't it? So I've got to be careful. Doesn't seem to be having really any effect at all on that, whatever that is on the back. It may be newsprint, Yeah, it's a shame, but it's only a second anyway. But it's obviously it's for that beautiful jacket, isn't it? It's really good. But it is what it is. We did the best we could on that. But I'm surprised I didn't get a little bit more up off that. Remember selling these in some of the classic editions. Yeah, I picked up this little lot for like $3.50. It was 3 books. So although they're not mint, they are the early editions. Really nice jacket there. Very, very nice. I wonder who that artist was. Often they say, No, they don't say who the cover artist was on that, but very, very nice indeed. Yeah, very nice indeed, that. Same artist on here, by the look of it. It looks a little bit like Chris Achilles, but don't know for sure. No, once again, no sign of the cover artist. Not like Penguin, they would credit their cover artists, You may notice no old penguins this time round. None come my way. Sadly, that's how it goes sometimes, One of the dealers who usually does a catalogue in January, I've not heard from, so I can only assume they've not done one this time round. They haven't got anything new to sell. Which is fine, that's how it goes. but I hope you have found this an interesting mix of titles this time. Not some of my regular stuff, but I think you'll agree some really nice books as well at the same time. All the American ones are particularly good. I haven't actually got my eyes set on much at the moment. I've been doing some cleaning on the other channel, of course. So if you've not checked out my dedicated cleaning channel, do go over and have a look. The next bagging video is going to be over there. So if you did enjoy that bagging video that I put up recently, the second part is available now. And it'll be about a month, and then I'm going to put up the Collins. Do consider, if you've never done it before, but go and have a look at the Patreon to get these sorts of videos early. All my key videos I release early, 1 video a week to my Patreon supporters. As I said, it really does help the channel out. You can join through YouTube if you prefer. If you've got a Google account, you can do it that way. But I must admit, I've got about 45 supporters of the channel across both platforms, you know, Patreon and YouTube. But I'd say Patreon is the better for the creator. You know, that's the one I would rather push, because the creator, you know, if you pledge like £1 a month, the creator will get, you know, 90p of that, which is much better than YouTube, which takes about 1/3 of whatever you contribute. So yeah, but anyway, have a think about that if you can. If not, please just subscribe. That costs nothing and it still helps the channel. Leaving a comment helps the channel. So if you've enjoyed what you've seen, let us know. And I shall be back with another video very soon. That's vastly improved, that one. Bye.